Hey, hi, hello.
Nullscape, a game I've been obsessed with since I first started playing it. A few weeks ago it got its biggest update yet that basically overhauls the entire game.
Oh hey! It's a little dingy dongy dangly langling.
Translation, medal.
So, Nullscape is a fast-paced, collectathon-based roguelite game where your main objective is to collect a certain amount of gifts scattered across procedurally generated levels while avoiding enemies and trying not to slip and fall into the void. Once you collect all the gifts, a beacon will appear at the spawn location to which you have to return to proceed to the next level. Even if only one player does that and the rest of the lobby dies, it still counts as beating it. When the beacon spawns, all the gifts respawn as golden gifts which you can collect as currency. Just be careful because as soon as the beacon spawns, the whole map starts to collapse. Every 1 to 2 levels you will be forced to pick between 3 different choices of enemies and curses. Curses are modifiers that alter your game in some way. They vary in difficulty quite a bit, with some being pretty much above and others being run-ending. Occasionally you will be forced to choose a greater curse, which has a way stronger impact on the game than normal curses, and picking a wrong one usually means that you are cooked. Of course, both normal and greater curses not only affect the gameplay itself, but also enemies, changing their behavior, adding an extra twist, or multiplying them. Now, enemies by themselves are really easy to avoid. The whole difficulty of the game comes from the fact that there is not only one enemy. There is usually at least 30 and all of them do different things. The most notable ones are... An indicator shows up under the player following them. After a few seconds it will stop and a rocket will dashes near the player and shoots bullets that predict your movement. Every 7 seconds teleports in front of the player. Shows a random number between 5 to 15, then starts counting from 1. Use your ability when it hits the number that was shown before. Spawns swords around the player. To avoid them you have to not go in the same direction the sword is pointing. Spawns instruments around the map that you have to collect. Not collecting them will enrage Cadence, making it chase players at high speeds, killing on contact. To help you avoid all of those entities, every few levels you will be able to buy upgrades. Some are generally useful and some are class specific, with the better ones being more expensive. After completing a level you will gain XP and trip coins based on your performance. You can use those trip coins to then buy cosmetics or new classes, with my favorites being Grappler and Diver. If the curses and enemies weren't enough difficulty for you, don't worry, there are also progression events. As you get further into the game, you will get a pop-up that a progression event happened. Those can enhance your enemies, alter the generation a bit by adding new types of tiles, or straight up add hazards like trip mines or sea mines. Trip mines hide between gifts, they are quite easy to spot after playing for a bit, and they of course kill on contact. So if you see a line of gifts, there is probably a trip mine somewhere there. Sea mines are generated next to the platform. When touched, they explode after a little bit, killing players too close to it or knocking away players that were out of the kill range but still close to the mine. The last mechanic I would like to mention is altars. Those can generate around the map as you progress through the game, and they have different effects. Every single altar is useful in some way, except Altar of Chance. For example, Altar of Protection gives you a shield, which lets you take one more hit. Altar of Purgatory, Greed, gives you bonus golden gifts in exchange for higher difficulty. Or Altar of Purification, which allows you to remove a curse, get an enemy instead of it, but the more difficult the curse it removes, the higher the cost of it in golden gifts is. And that's basically the game. There is also a boss fight. And that's basically the game. It's honestly amazing and incredibly fun to avoid a swarm of enemies and survive. All this while listening to some of the best OSTs I've heard in any game. Really recommend checking them out. Digital Descendant, you are amazing. And that would be it for the breakdown, I suppose. Thank you guys so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and have a great day.